In the fast-paced world of modern dating, knowing when to walk away is one of the most powerful skills a man can master. It's not about playing games or trying to manipulate a situation. It's about recognizing the red flags that women might unknowingly or intentionally reveal. These aren't subtle cues, they're glaring warning signs disguised as everyday statements. If you've ever found yourself doubting whether a relationship is worth pursuing or staying in, this video is for you. As a man in 2025, you face unique challenges in dating. The dynamics have shifted and expectations are higher than ever. Women are more vocal about their desires, social media magnifies every interaction, and boundaries between respect and compromise often blur. To navigate this landscape successfully, you need a mindset rooted in clarity, confidence, and unwavering standards. This video uncovers the 5 statements women make that signal it's time to walk away without hesitation. These aren't just words, they're reflections of underlying mindsets, unresolved issues, or incompatibilities that will eventually erode your peace and self-worth. Men who ignore these signs often find themselves in toxic, draining relationships that leave them feeling disempowered. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these critical phrases but also understand why they're deal breakers. You'll be armed with the knowledge to protect your emotional energy and invest in connections that truly align with your values. So, if you're ready to elevate your dating game and ensure you're pursuing relationships with women who genuinely respect and value you, pay close attention. It's time to decode the signals and reclaim your power in the dating world. When she says these 5 things, walk away. No exceptions. Let's dive into it. 1. I'm not looking for anything serious right now. When a woman tells you she's not looking for anything serious, it might sound like she's being honest and upfront. However, what she's really doing is setting the stage for an arrangement where she benefits while you invest emotionally. Let's break down why this phrase is a major red flag and why it signals it's time for you to walk away. The reality behind her statement. This phrase is a soft rejection masked as clarity. She's essentially telling you, you're not the guy I see myself committing to, but I'll keep you around as long as it suits me. In most cases, she wants the perks of your attention, validation, and resources without reciprocating in a meaningful way. This dynamic often leads to a lopsided connection where you're giving far more than you're getting in return. The cost of ignoring this warning. Many men convince themselves that they can win her over by being patient or by proving their worth. But this approach rarely works. Instead, it often results in you being strung along while she keeps her options open. Meanwhile, your time, energy, and emotional well-being are drained, leaving you feeling used and undervalued. By staying, you reinforce the idea that it's acceptable to treat your effort as optional. And in the long run, you're left questioning your own self-respect. Why walking away is the only option. The key here is recognizing that you deserve someone who is excited about you, not someone who sees you as a placeholder. Walking away from this type of woman sends a clear message. You value yourself too much to settle for less than mutual respect and investment. When she says, I'm not looking for anything serious, believe her. Don't waste your time hoping she'll change her mind. Instead, focus on women who are ready and willing to meet you where you are. 2. My ex was crazy. When a woman casually says, my ex was crazy, it may seem like she's simply recounting a bad relationship. But don't let the surface-level humor or drama fool you. This statement often reveals far more about her than about the person she's describing. In the modern dating world, this is one of the most overlooked red flags, and it's one that warrants serious consideration. Here's why. First, this phrase often signals a lack of accountability. While it's true that some people have genuinely difficult or toxic ex-partners, not every past relationship failure can be blamed entirely on the other person. When she frames her ex as crazy, she's deflecting responsibility for the part she may have played in the relationship's downfall. Whether it was poor communication, unmet expectations, or unresolved issues, a person who always casts themselves as the victim rarely has the self-awareness necessary for a healthy partnership. This mindset poses a significant risk to your relationship because it suggests she might handle conflict poorly. Imagine what will happen when challenges arise between you. If she refuses to own her role in disagreements, it will leave you frustrated and possibly feeling blamed for things that aren't your fault. Over time, this dynamic can become emotionally draining, and it's a clear sign of imbalance. Another concern is her tendency to badmouth others, especially someone she was once close to. If she speaks negatively about her ex, there's a strong chance she'll eventually do the same about you. This behavior often stems from unresolved bitterness or a need to control the narrative, both of which are damaging to any relationship. A woman who respects herself and others doesn't feel the need to demean her past partners. She learns from her experiences and moves on. Again, this statement could indicate a penchant for drama. Labeling her ex as crazy might suggest that her past relationships were filled with unnecessary conflict or volatility, and she may thrive on that kind of energy. If you're looking for stability and mutual growth, a partner with a history of drama isn't going to meet those needs. Instead, you'll likely find yourself entangled in the same cycles she describes, leaving you mentally and emotionally exhausted. When she says, "My ex was crazy," take it as a cue to protect your peace. A woman who can't speak about her past with maturity and balance isn't ready for a relationship built on respect and accountability. Don't ignore this sign. It's a warning of potential chaos that you don't need in your life. By walking away, you preserve your emotional energy for someone who values introspection and growth, both within themselves and in a partnership. 3. If you loved me, you would. When a woman says, "If you loved me, you would," it's easy to dismiss it as a simple expression of her needs or desires. However, this phrase often carries manipulative undertones and sets a dangerous precedent in the relationship. This is not about genuine communication, it's about exerting control over you by leveraging your emotions. If you hear this, it's a clear sign to reevaluate and most likely walk away. At its core, this statement weaponizes love to manipulate you into doing something you may not want to do. Love in a healthy relationship is about mutual understanding, trust, and compromise, not emotional coercion. When someone uses your feelings as leverage, it's a red flag that they're prioritizing their own desires over your autonomy. The implied message is, "Prove your love by putting my wants above your boundaries." Over time, this dynamic can erode your sense of self-worth and create a toxic imbalance in the relationship. What's even more alarming is how subtly this manipulation can escalate. It may start with small requests, like changing your plans or making sacrifices that seem reasonable at first. But eventually the demands may grow more invasive, leaving you feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells to keep her happy. This creates an unhealthy power dynamic where your love and commitment are constantly questioned unless you comply. This phrase also reveals a lack of respect for your individuality. Love doesn't require you to give up your identity, values, or personal goals. A woman who truly loves and respects you will communicate her needs directly, without resorting to guilt or manipulation. She will seek compromise rather than testing your devotion through ultimatums. Ultimately, a relationship built on manipulation will never provide the fulfillment or peace you deserve. When someone says, "If you loved me, you would," it's not a declaration of love, it's a tactic to gain control. Walking away from this kind of behavior is not only wise but necessary to protect your emotional health. Love should uplift and inspire, not be used as a tool to manipulate or control. 4. All my friends say you should. When a woman says, "All my friends say you should," it may sound like harmless advice she's passing along. However, this phrase often carries an underlying warning sign. She's allowing outside opinions to dictate the terms of your relationship. This seemingly innocent statement is actually a subtle way of undermining your authority as the man in the relationship and inviting external interference into what should be a private bond. First, it's important to recognize that a healthy relationship is built on trust and direct communication between two people, not on the influence of her social circle. When she brings her friends' opinions into the conversation, she's introducing third-party judgments into a space that should remain intimate and sacred. This can create an atmosphere where your actions or decisions are constantly scrutinized by people who don't fully understand the dynamics of your relationship. Over time, this can breed resentment and tension. By leaning on what all her friends say, she's also signaling a potential lack of confidence in her own judgment. Instead of expressing her feelings openly and taking ownership of her needs, she uses her friends as a proxy to exert pressure. This tactic not only diminishes her accountability, but also shifts the power dynamic. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with her, you're up against an entire panel of outsiders who feel entitled to weigh in on your relationship. What's more concerning is how this phrase often becomes a tool for manipulation. She might use it to justify unreasonable demands, framing them as universally agreed upon standards that you're expected to meet. Whether it's about how you should act, what you should provide, or how you should handle specific situations, this external validation undermines your ability to make decisions based on mutual respect and understanding. Lastly, relying on the opinions of others can indicate deeper insecurities or a lack of emotional independence. A woman who values her friend's input over her partner's perspective is likely to prioritize external validation over the health of the relationship. This can create an unstable dynamic where you feel constantly judged and undervalued. When she says, "All my friends say you should," it's a sign that the relationship is not grounded in mutual respect or autonomy. A mature woman will trust her instincts and communicate her needs directly, without involving a chorus of outside opinions. Walking away in this scenario is not about rejecting her. It's about protecting your peace and ensuring you're in a relationship that fosters independence, trust, and emotional maturity. 5. You're intimidated by me. When a woman says, "You're intimidated by me," it may seem like she's trying to assert her confidence or independence. But beneath this statement often lies a deeper issue, an attempt to deflect responsibility or elevate herself at your expense. It's a phrase designed to frame any disagreement or boundary you set as a sign of weakness on your part, rather than a legitimate expression of your needs or values. This statement is typically a defensive mechanism. Rather than engaging in an honest conversation about the issue at hand, she shifts the focus onto you, painting you as insecure or unable to handle her strength. This tactic is manipulative because it forces you to defend yourself instead of addressing the actual concern. It's not about empowering herself, it's about dismissing your perspective and invalidating your feelings. The phrase, "You're intimidated by me," can also reveal an inflated sense of self-importance. While confidence is attractive, arrogance or an exaggerated perception of one's worth can quickly become toxic in a relationship. A woman who frequently uses this line often views herself as superior to her partner, which creates an imbalance in the relationship. Rather than fostering mutual respect, this dynamic leaves you feeling undermined and devalued. What's particularly dangerous about this statement is how it can erode your confidence over time. If you start questioning whether your boundaries or opinions are rooted in insecurity, you may begin second-guessing yourself in other areas of life. A healthy relationship should build you up, not tear you down. Any partner who regularly tries to position herself as above you or implies that your concerns stem from intimidation is not someone who values equality in a partnership. Ultimately, when she says, "You're intimidated by me," it's not a reflection of your character. It's a reflection of her inability to connect in a meaningful, respectful way. Walking away in this situation is about recognizing your worth and refusing to settle for a dynamic where your voice is diminished. A strong relationship is built on mutual admiration and understanding, not power plays disguised as confidence. Protect your peace, and don't let this tactic manipulate you into staying in a relationship that's out of balance. Recognizing the red flags in a woman's words is a vital skill for any man navigating the dating world in 2025. Statements like, "I'm not looking for anything serious," "My ex was crazy," "If you loved me, you would," "All my friends say you should," and "You're intimidated by me," are not just casual remarks. They're signals of deeper issues that can lead to unhealthy dynamics. Walking away when you hear these phrases isn't about being harsh or unforgiving. It's about valuing your peace, self-respect, and emotional health. Always remember, the right relationship builds you up. It doesn't tear you down. Tell me your experiences down in the comments below. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time,